Are you working on a research project but don't know where to begin? Or maybe you have a general idea with a research question or hypothesis drafted. But your idea needs to be polished and you need to identify the specific variables. This video will provide an overview of how to manage the initial stages of a research project. We will discuss how to identify your variables and refine your research questions or hypotheses. A great place to begin is by taking on a lot of reading, specifically reading academic journal articles. These are great sources to see how studies have been designed and executed. These articles also provide a great resource to learn more about your topic. As you begin to refine your research idea, the literature review and the discussion sections are initially the two primary areas to focus on when reading an academic article. In the literature review, the authors define and discuss the concepts within the context of the study. Here you can learn the labels of the variables and how they have been studied. Relevant theoretical models are usually described in this section as well, and these can help refine research questions and hypotheses. The literature review also contains an argument that supports the research questions and hypotheses of the study. By reading this section, you can see how such arguments are structured and also obtain examples of the research questions and hypotheses. The discussion section of an academic article contains a lot of great information in explaining, interpreting, and applying the results of the study you are reading. However, as you are considering putting a study together, I would encourage you to focus on the future directions subsection that usually shows up near the end of a discussion section. The future studies section highlights opportunities for subsequent studies on the topic. In this example, you will see that the future studies section is a paragraph in the discussion section. Such information from a researcher can be very useful in helping you shape and refine your own research ideas. Of course, there is a lot more to break down in an academic research article, and this is covered in another video. As you read and ingest information from academic journals, you will start to develop your research questions or hypotheses. You will need to consider developing research questions if your study is more exploratory in nature. When there is not a lot known on your topic or variable, the phrasing of a question is more appropriate. However, if you find a great deal of existing research on your topic or you are using or testing a theoretical model, then you should probably construct hypotheses. Hypotheses are utilized when we can propose a prediction regarding how the results should come together and we can support the information using existing research or a theory. Another important consideration is knowing exactly what you are planning to study. When studying humans as individuals, each individual is a single entity. When studying humans as dyads, each dyad, group of two, is a single entity. For example, you might be conducting a study comparing happily married couples to unhappily married couples. In this case, each couple consisting of two people counts as one entity being studied. After determining your unit of analysis, you need to identify exactly what your variables are. Many times we use variables the way they have been used in previous studies. We can conceptualize the variables from a literature review and we can operationalize the variables from a methods section. Variables are defined as any unit of analysis that can differ or have two or more distinct categories that can be compared. Variables can be categorized as mutually exclusive and exhaustive. For a variable to be considered mutually exclusive, a participant could only find a fit in one category of that variable. For the categories of a variable to be exhaustive, every participant should be able to find one category that they fit into. For example, you may want to explore the weekly hours a college student spends studying. This research might compare the student's class and the hours averaged by the class. The variable class would include freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors, whereby every college student would fit in only one of the four categories. While credit hours would serve as a ratio level of measurement. If the participant does not fit into any of the four categories, they might not fit the criteria of your unit of analysis, or you can add another category labeled Other. It is not uncommon for a study to explore more than one variable at a time. So, after establishing the variables in your study, you need to consider if and how they might be associated in relation to one another. The four types of variables are independent variables, dependent variables, intervening variables, and control variables. Independent variables can be described as predictor variables. These variables have an impact on other things. Dependent variables are the argued outcome variables. These variables are influenced or impacted upon by other variables. Intervening variables are sometimes called the mediating or moderating variables. These variables show up in between the independent and dependent variables and are impacted by predictors and affect the outcomes. Control variables are the factors that a researcher holds constant. These variables are not under direct study. These variables prevent change during a study or observation. Understanding the basic types of variables will allow you to more efficiently design your study and write up your research questions and/or hypotheses. Let's apply the types of variables in an example. Say you are curious about exploring the impact of an individual's intelligence on salary earned in a year. The research question could be, does an individual's intelligence have an impact on that person's salary earned in a year? The unit of analysis would be individuals. Intelligence would be the independent variable, and we might use IQ scores to observe intelligence because every individual would have one and only one IQ score. This would also be the independent variable because intelligence might predict a person's salary. The salary earned in a year would be the dependent variable because one's salary might be contingent upon the individual's intelligence. However, let's assume that the unit of analysis, the individual, was recently promoted to being a supervisor. In this case, one's job title might come in between one's intelligence and that person's salary. In other words, the job title might serve as an intervening variable in this study because a certain level of intelligence might lead to a certain job title, and subsequently that job title might command a certain type of salary. All other factors not being directly studied would be classified as control variables. In this video, we addressed the basic considerations when initiating a research study. It starts with reading journal articles on your topic and variables. These readings will help you refine your research questions and/or hypotheses. These readings will also help streamline your variables. I hope you found this information helpful. Comment below to share what variables you are studying and how the initial readings helped you refine your research questions or hypotheses. And remember to comment and like and subscribe for more research-focused videos.